Mate, 1% better every day, mate. That's the aim of the game, right? Like, never mind trying to.
That's right, 1%. That could be the name of your book. One a day, 1% a day. Like a little battery reloaded.
That's gotta be the cheesiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you know that. You got a picture of a battery on the front. 1% a day. Reload the body and mind.
Wow. Yeah.
And you can have a little mouth on top with a bit of cheese.
Yeah. You know what? But you know, a bloke has published a book, right? It says the title is something like "Everything Men Know About Women," and it's blank. The book is blank. It's not got a single character in it, and he sold fucking thousands of copies.
Oh, I guarantee people have used it as notepads, haven't they? And they've started taking notes about what they do know about women.
Or like a joke present.
No, it wasn't a book. It wasn't a book. It was a notepad.
It was a notepad.
You got it wrong. It was a notepad. It's called a 2-in-1 book. Book and notepad.
Wow, that's two types of markets you can bust into, mate.
Buzzing.
There you go. All right. Welcome back, brother. Like, you are the first repeat guest on the show, I guess.
Privileged.
Like, I get a lot from you. I know other people do. Fun fact, I can't cross my legs like that, you know.
Can you not?
I can't.
It's the most comfiest way to sit. And I get a lot of stick for it. Not going to lie to you. But, you know, this is how I like it. I sit one leg on top of the other, I relax back, and I put my hands on top of my legs, and I feel great.
I tell you what, right, this is going to bust a myth for me, right? Because for, 24? For 24 years, I've been racking my brains, and I've been trying to put my gonads in every position I can possibly do it. And every time I cross my frigging legs like that, my balls feel like they're going to pop.
I can tell you the answer to it. Mine are very small. And I'm just being honest. Can we leave that there, Alex?
Smuggling raisins.
Budgie smugglers.
Hey, I got a couple pairs of them, mate. I tell you what.
I bet you have been out there,
mate. I tell you what. The designs they have are awesome, but my God, you need it to be a cold day.
You're not going to sell them to me.
Otherwise, it's a bit uncomfortable. You know what I mean? You hop in the sea for about 5 minutes, you're fine. Because it shrimps, and then you basically, you know, you're not smuggling anything then. But I mean, if it's a warm day, you're like, geez, where are they going to go?
Yeah, exactly right.
Anyway,
I've got a funny story for you, Alex, if you've got time for it. So we went to France, must be 2 years ago now, and took Betsy the camper. We drove her to France, and campsite, and the girls wanted to swim, but it didn't have a swimming pool. So we went for a walk, and we found La Piscine, good French, and it was like a swimming baths. So I went in there, and I got changed, went to go in, and they stopped me. I'm not going to try a French accent because I haven't got one.
Yep.
And what's wrong, mate? He said, no. So what? Not allowed the kind of like these short styles. You had to wear budgie smugglers. And I went, I've not got any. The kids are there nearly in tears because they want to go in the swimming pool and they've got to be assisted. So I'm like, he went, follow me. Oh no, kids, Mars behind me cracking up. And he went through this room, opened up a cupboard, come out with the smallest pair of tightest smugglers you've ever seen. And he just smiled at me. He knew what he was doing. He just smiled at me because he knew the kids had to go in there. Given to me. I looked down at Frank. He went, Frank, are you sure you want to go in? She went, yes, Daddy. Oh. So I had to go and put them on, mate. Oh, my God. Marley was just in absolute stitches the whole time. But then you go in there and everyone's wearing them and it feels normal. When everyone does something, you should feel normal. Am I not correct? Whether you've done it before or not, you should feel, I didn't fit in. Oh, no. Mate, I did not. The look on my face said it all, Alex. I was stood there. I was like, moving. Oh, I couldn't get comfortable. In the end, I had to just go and sit in the shallow end and just sit down, not do nothing, and watch the kids play. No joke. It was so funny. So funny.
I think you like the look of you.
Fair, probably. Not many do. But yeah, I had to give him back to him at the end, and he just had a little smile on his face. He knew what he'd done. Fair play to the guy. Another English guy, he's cracked.
Yeah. He's like, gullible Englishman's come over to the south of France. That's it. I'm going to make him wear these
way.
These
I literally got to stand on my head. Oh, well, they make for good stories.
For sure, mate. And, you know,
Sure.
I've got a pair with pink donuts on it. You know what I mean?
Have you really?
Yeah. And I've also
Are you going to try them on for me? Next time we do one, right? I want you wearing them.
This could turn into a video podcast.
It could do.
I tell you what. Let's start an OnlyFans. Maybe we'll make a few bob.
Mate, I tell you what, I need a few bob.
Mate, some of the pennies these lot earn on OnlyFans is ridiculous.
I wouldn't know. Is that right? Yeah.
Like, I mean, how else am I afforded to be over here, mate?
Fair enough.
Steady. Nah, like, fucking budgie smugglers are funny, man. Like, you do see more people over here, obviously wearing them, but it's nice and sunny. You know what I mean? Rather than jumping in the channel in a pair of budgie smugglers, like you would freeze your testicles off and leave them in the bottom of the ocean. But yeah, it's funny. Like, innit? Like Britain is the only country in Europe that finds it weird to not shower naked communally.
Yes, and I think that comes from the being at school days. Personally, you know that moment when everyone's having a shower and everyone's in there. You look around and literally everyone's got their full clothes on, just getting wet. That is it, just getting wet. You know, but Alex, this is true. There's always one that doesn't care. He gets changed, totally naked, and just walks in proud as anything. And he's usually the one that, you know, has started puberty at like the age of 4. You know, he walks in, bit of hair on his chest, and he is fully fledged adult by like 11 years old.
Yeah,
and
you know why? Because you've got to measure him in a ruler. Like, he's absolutely swinging a stick down there, and he's just like, that's it, fellas. I'm the alpha.
I still shower my clothes on.
What, in a cubicle?
Mate, there are cameras everywhere these days, Alex. You just don't know who to trust.
I mean, even in your own home.
Oh, yeah, I tell you. The missus keeping an eye on me.
Especially in your own home.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Moving swiftly on. A little bit of a soft digression, yeah. Yeah, man. So look, first time we spoke about, obviously, team spirit. If people don't know about team spirit by now, they've been living under a rock. It is absolutely incredible. You've made leaps and bounds since last time. Leaps and bloody bounds, which is awesome. And I'm sure we're going to dive onto that. But something, even if you take, I was thinking about this the other day, right? You take yourself away from team spirit, which is hard to do. But if we just separate those two, you've still got so much more to give, and a lot of other people still take so much from you, from the whole thing of chase the pain.
Yeah,
and
hope so.
No, 100% definitely, and it's the fact of like, I love the tease for try.
Yeah,
I love the whole thing of, hey, we're 1% better. We've just got to put in the work when we can. Give each other a high five and a fist bump when we're done. Applaud the effort.
Sure. Yeah.
And move forward. Hey, we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to be world class at the start. And where did chase the pain come from? Because it I don't want to say it seemed like your mentality flipped, but it seemed like you just spoke to yourself and said, Darren, you're going to go all in, mate.
Oh, yeah, I think you're probably right there, buddy. I mean, it was January the 1st last year. I kind of started committing to getting back into it. And I think with work, family, you know, I've got quite an addictive personality. Alex, you probably know that anyway. So the last few years, I've just put everything into my family, my girls, with Mara and her football. I've put, and my wife, I've put everything to that, and my team spirit company. And those years tick over, and it's like I kind of forgot about doing something, I think, for me. And as much as I've always been happy and everything, I don't play football anymore, so I kind of lost that. And I was just doing a little bit of light fitness. And January the 1st, I said to myself, I want to take on a new challenge again. And that's when the burpee challenge started. Do you remember? I was doing 1 burpee a day every day. And you add 1 every day. So January the 1st was 1, January 2nd was 2. And I got to about 4 months into that, and I started doing a lot more CrossFit stuff. And obviously the lockdown started. So every day, to keep myself mentally sane, I wanted to stay fit. I like every day ticking boxes, so I've achieved something. I like that sense of accomplishment, and that makes me feel good. And being quite selfish, I feel good about myself when I do something and you get an end goal. And then I was kind of doing these workouts thinking, these are crazy. And I hit some thresholds where I wanted to do a 2K row sub 7 minutes. And I was at like 8:20, and I thought I would never get to that stage. And I ended up doing a 6:59. And when I fell off the rowing machine, and I was during that row, I was just like, I was in my element. Do you know when it's an amazing feeling where you're going harder or further than what you think you can go. So actually, I'm not this fit, but I'm pushing myself to make myself get fitter. You're going through that red line, and you keep going and you keep going, and then the kind of after that rowing session, and I was really proud to get 6:59. And I know loads of people can do better than that, but it isn't about that. It was always me. It's just me v me. It's just me v me, and that is it. And I really love that mental battle. And I was doing some crayons that afternoon with Frankie in the garden, and we were drawing pictures. And I wrote "Chase Pain," and I've still got the picture now that I've got as a logo in my house. And from that moment onwards, I was just like, that's what I've done. I chased a lot of pain today. And everyone's chasing different pain in their lives as well. There's lots of different types of pain you can chase. But my pain was the pain threshold of fitness. And at that moment, I felt horrendous. And I couldn't move. I was on the sofa for half an hour. I couldn't move. I wasn't very well afterwards. But I loved it. And from that moment, I was like, the burpees wasn't enough. Just doing the burpees wasn't enough. So I had lots of other CrossFit stuff into it. And by 6 months into my burpee challenge, I decided to stop the burpees because I was on like 180 something a day. And you got to do it every day. So it was affecting my workouts now. So I had to incorporate 181 burpees into that session. And doing that every day, it was really affecting what I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn double unders. I wanted to learn muscle ups. I wanted to learn, toes to bar. And it's really affecting me. So I ended up doing 6 months of that challenge. And it was like 16,000 burpees for the first 6 months of the year. And I just love chasing pain. And I started posting a few things to friends who started getting involved. Me, I was tough. So I ripped all the stuff out of the shed, and I fitted out with the Concept 2 rower. I've got my barbells. I've now got my own gym, and every day I like to try and chase some pain. It might be a 10-minute EMOM. It might be, just a row, or it might be an active recovery day. But I like to chase some pain, and it makes me feel alive. At that moment when I'm going through that threshold of, God, I'm spent. Your mind, what does it say to you? It says stop, doesn't it? It says stop. And I like to say, yeah, let's have it. Right now, I'm going to attack you. And that's what I feed off, Alex. It's really weird, but I got goosebumps thinking about it. Seriously, like today's been an active rest day for me. So today I've just rested. I've done a good run wad, lots of stretching. But I'm already missing, not just the fact that I've got to work out. I didn't for it to spiral like that, but that's just how it's worked out. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. It makes me feel alive. I've got my PT qualification as well last summer. So I'm now doing PTing as part of Team Spirit as well. So that's another arm to the business. I've got a few clients that I work with one-to-one, and I'm really enjoying getting them out of their comfort zones. You know, I'm getting a lot out of that. And I've got some mixed ability of clients, and I love working with those clients that think they can't get very far when actually, you know, you can get something out of them. And once they realize they can do it, they just fly, mate. Just fly like a bird, and they feel so good about themselves. So yeah, man, that's kind of a little bit about Chase Payne. You know, it is what it is, and I absolutely love it. I love getting out of that comfortable zone. You know, I love getting uncomfortable. Yeah.
100%, mate. And I think there is, I think there's some strength through discipline. And Jocko speaks about it all the time when he says there's freedom in discipline, and you gain so much. And the more I speak to males in particular, like females are incredible. They can just do everything to the utmost standard and just keep themselves like in this like euphoric state. But I speak to males, right, and they have to. What I've come to a realization is they have to keep themselves between two lines, because I believe like the male mind is so easily corruptible. Like we could chase rabbits, you know what I mean? And we'd be like, yeah, like let me go, let me get it. You're like, mate, you're chasing rabbits in the field, you're not doing anything. Like, what are you doing? And that could be, you know, anything. That could be constructive or destructive or somewhere in between or both, you know what I mean? And I think that, I know for me personally, that discipline, I get so much more energy out of. Do you think that's going to be with yourself with like, hey, Darren, like you feel like shit today, but I'm addicted to the fact of I have to do this. And I told
myself,
like I've
got purpose, mate.
Yeah, 100%. There you go. You said it. Purpose. That's what I was trying to pull out of you.
Yeah. I feel as though I've really got that purpose. I don't feel as though I don't need to go and do it to make myself feel better, but I've got a purpose that I want to do it for the right reasons. Because you can be addicted in the fact that, I'm not feeling it today, but I better, just because I've got to. I'm not doing it because I just feel as though I've got to do it. I really want to do it, and I want to hit that threshold. Sometimes it's a short wad, or it might be a bit of cross training, or a cycle or run. You can't always redline it. And I've learned that the hard way, because I always tried to redline it last year. But I've learned to manage myself better, and also to better myself in different areas. So Chase Payne doesn't just represent the pain threshold, it represents the purpose of trying something over and over again. You know, muscle ups, mate. I posted quite a few videos of me trying to do the muscle ups, and I can do strict pull-ups fine, but the muscle ups were a killer for me. I can do 5 unbroken. I can now put them into WODs, some decent workouts. And muscle ups now are comfortable for me, whereas before they were really uncomfortable. And the pain was I just couldn't do them. You know, at the moment, handstand push-ups I can't do. I think the strength's there. It's just the technique. Double unders. One day you can do 7, next day you can do 20, next day you can't do any. There's different types of pain, isn't there? And I think as long as you're pushing yourself to be the best that you can be at that given time, and you don't let that pain stop you, as in frustration because you can't do it, or I'm a bit tired, I can't push on. Yeah, you can. So I think I'm addicted to that, definitely, just that moment, you know. And when you do push on, and you after the session, that feeling after the session, right, is, I'm sure you'll agree, is up there with some of the best feelings there is, you know, after you've smashed the workout. I remember when last year I'd done Murph 3 times, and the 3rd time I wanted to really push for the time. I had the vest on, and it ended up doing 36:59, but I wanted to try and break 36 minutes, and I was quite gutted that I didn't. And then I realised, well, last time I'd done it, I didn't wear a vest, and I'd done it. It took me longer without a vest. So you just got to put things in like perspective sometimes, and also not expect too much from yourself, because then you start beating yourself up, don't you? And you get really negative about it. So yeah, man, I think you're exactly right. You've definitely pulled up for me. You're right. Definitely there, mate. Totally agree.
Yeah, be proud of yourself of what you can achieve, but then also never be 100% satisfied, because you don't want to like sit on your high horse, right, and rest on your laurels and say, hey, You know, I've done 5 muscle ups. That's good enough. Like, there's always a bigger fish.
Keep going.
Keep going, mate. You know, there's always, like, what do we say in weightlifting? Like, rule number 1 in weightlifting: come to the realization you'll always be shit in weightlifting. And it's like, not to the fact of like you can never be good at this sport, but at the end of the day, there's always another kilo. Like, even if, which 100%. Is completely impossible, even if you move the barbell in the perfect form, which is, nothing can ever be perfect, right? We're humans. But even if you move it in a perfect form, you can still add a kilo. Correct. There'll always be more weight you can put on the bar. So it's humbling, but it's also that it goes back to Buddha, right? Happiness is the journey. It's not the destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
The purpose.
When you get there, you're like, oh, what do I do now?
What do I do now?
So that's like, it's so true. Like, even you use the example of the muscle ups there, you know, once you've got to X amount, well, what can I do? What else can I do now? What can I progress with? And I think that's with fitness. We talk about fitness, you know, from being an unfit person to getting fit, that can be quite a quick change. Mm-hmm. If you work hard at it, your gains can be quite quick on times and your personal bests. And then when you start getting to a higher level, your improvements get very small, because it takes so much longer to improve those areas. And I think, you know, a lot of people get a bit frustrated that they're not improving it by 30 seconds or lifting 20k more than what they did last time. Because when they first started, it was 40k. Now they're up to 80. Why aren't they smashing 120? Whereas actually, it's all relative, isn't it? As you get better, you know, the improvements will actually become smaller and smaller, and that's why it's so hard to keep on improving. And you know, you never really get better at something. You just become fitter. Do you know what I mean? And I feel as though the fitter you get, the harder it actually gets. It doesn't get any easier at all. It just carries on getting harder.
There's also many degrees of progress, because you can, you know, say for example, you get your muscle up, it opens another door, and that door can go down like 20 different channels. You know, you try and move with a little bit more virtuosity, you try and link a couple more, you do it fatigued, you do it a little, you tighten up your kip, you do it strict, you might add weight to yourself. Like, there's so many different things you can do to improve. And I think once you start progressing in this game of fitness, like, you get that addictive feeling of like, oh shit, like, there's so many things that I can do. Like, 10 minutes of mobility is improving my fitness, because I can get into positions better. You know, it's improving my health of my joints and all those different things. And I think where people trip up on is, just from experience and sitting back and watching, is when people have that like that aesthetic goal, as people usually like to say.
Yeah.
So it's where they're like, hey, like, I'll be happy, or my goal is to lose X amount of weight, to look a certain way, to do whatever. And I'm like, all right, congratulations, but like, you can be labeled the most beautiful man or beautiful woman on the planet and be miserable as shit, man.
Yeah.
And then what next?
Very true, man.
What do you do? True. Congratulations, you've got 12 packs on your stomach. You've got dick skin abs. Your arms are the size as people's heads. But you're like seriously in a bad way mentally. I'm like, well, is that fitness? Like, no, like, you're missing half the thing there. So the performance side.
Yeah, and I
go on.
When I was younger, I used to do that, mate. You know what I mean? When I was 18, 19, 20, I remember I was doing it all for the wrong reasons. And you know what, I feel as I wasted so much energy and time back in them days. And what I love about specifically CrossFit, you know, I'm really, really into the CrossFit, is I love all the different challenges it challenges you in. You know, there's so many different dimensions to it. And it really excites me to learn the gymnastic side of it. You know, it really excites me to learn the weightlifting. It excites me to try all these WODs and, you know, all the benchmark WODs. There are so many things you need to learn. And it is just continuous. It's a continuous evolution of your body learning the different types of movement. and then trying to put those movements together, gymnastics, weightlifting, cardio, these things, I don't think, I think you've got to really do it to really understand it and to really feel that pain that CrossFit gives you, because it is a different type of pain. And that's really what is, helped me throw myself into it, because there's so many different areas. And again, it's like, there's so many things to learn, and I really enjoyed that opportunity to learn different things. And again, get comfortable at being uncomfortable. These things, I couldn't do a handstand, not even for 1 second. My daughter watched me the amount of times just fall flat on my face every single day last summer, and I can just about maybe do 10 seconds now. And that to me is a massive improvement. Others can do it for minutes, and that's brilliant, but to me, 10 seconds is amazing, and I'm only going to keep trying to improve it. So it's just trying to put these things together and make the most of, if I'm going to learn this movement, I'm going to give it 100%. But there's so many to learn, so it's learn to split it all up as well. It's tough. It's really tough.
That's a beautiful example, and I'm going to use it. Right, you by putting yourself in that position where you're like, hey, I'm going to dedicate X amount of time per week, and I am going to do it, and I have to do it whether I feel good or bad. Like, you couldn't hold a handstand for a second, right? And you take your immediate family that obviously you live with and your daughters, right? They're going to be watching you fall flat on your face, literally fall flat on your face,
literally,
for weeks, months, however long it took, and they're just like, what the hell is Dad doing outside? Like, he's literally falling over like a wet salmon. And the next thing you know, you can hold a handstand for 10 seconds. And it's just showed, hey, it doesn't matter where you start, just consistent effort gets you places. You might not be able to hold it for a minute.
100%. Yeah, it's a great.
Might not be like perfectly straight, but like consistent effort makes progress. And I think that's a beautiful example. And it just shows like, hey, just get in the arena. Like, I always go back to the quote by Teddy Roosevelt, right? The man in the arena deserves the credit, not the critic. And it's just like, you were practicing the man in the arena. You just get in there throwing punches.
Yeah, fair one. And what I like about what you said there as well is, you can, especially being a dad, you can talk to children, or you can talk. I'm a teacher as well with sport and PE. You can tell children stuff, but you know what the best learning thing is? Just to let them see it. It's all about visual, and not even trying to teach, but just letting them see failure, letting them see that pain, letting them see what you're going through, and also show them emotion. I get frustrated about it, but then when they see you do it, they're like, whoa, get in there. And they kind of share that with you as well. And then without realizing that, they are learning about, being consistent. And I always use the saying, I want you to fail harder, go and fail harder. Fail forward is a saying as well, isn't it? But I love fail harder, because the more consistent you are, the more times you put yourself in that position, then brilliant. And yeah, it's a nice way to teach my kids as well, because obviously they did get to see me fall flat on my face quite a few times. They found it quite funny, which is brilliant. They're finding it funny as well.
Yeah, but you'd rather them like fail at something and get a chuckle out of it, as in them personally failing at something, getting a chuckle out of it, rather than just being super scared, shell up, and then just it would you hear stories of people all the time when they're a kid, and they might have been ridiculed for failing at a test or failing a penalty shootout or whatever it was, and then they never tried anything again. They're like 30 years of age and they never tried anything again. And I think that's so sad. And it is like, it humanizes you. Like, a lot of the time kids will look up to a coach or a teacher and they will be like, these people are like a step above people. They know everything. They're incredible. They're perfect. They can do everything. And especially when you, like, for example, I knew you were an incredible, well, you still are an incredible footballer.
Thank you.
So the, which is not a proper sport, by the way, but no.
I tell you what, I was the best sub going, mate. Unbelievable sub. I had a great warm-up routine.
Got the crowd going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did a couple of stretches. Great. But they'll look at it and be like, oh my God, like, Darren is awesome at football. I can't get anywhere near that. But getting in the arena, either whether it's joining a class if you're a CrossFit coach, whether it is joining in a skill or whatever, whether it's showing, whether it's, hey, I'm going to be trying this challenge. Here's a link to it while you're at home, which is beautiful with the technology. You can watch me try a 2K row. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it in sub 7.
Yeah.
Whether I do or not is, it's up to the gods or whatever you want to call it. We'll see. But I'm going to try anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
And they'll be able to say, oh wow, like, okay, if coach or teacher or Darren or is trying these things and putting him in a pretty vulnerable position, then they can play throwing and catching with a beanbag.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely, 100%. That's very, very true, and that's why I like to video a lot of my stuff. I put it on my Team Spirit website, on the YouTube channel. My half marathon row I put on there. The 2K row I put on there, and some other stuff. And now Marley set up that Chase Payne YouTube channel where I pop a workout a week on there. And it's not to get a lot, 1,000 views, or we're not asked for subscribers or anything like that. Marley's using it for her school project. And it's like, for me, if people will come across that online and they see it, they will just see someone chasing some pain and going through that pain threshold. And I'm not, I haven't got the best technique. I'm not the best rower. By far, I am not the best weightlifter. I've only just started learning that. But all these things, if they see me not doing, I'm trying my best. If they see me trying my best, then they might not be afraid to pick it up and give it a go, just because they can't do it perfectly. It's not just about being perfect. It's just about trying to get it right. And you've got to fail a lot of times to do that. And I think that's something that, especially in CrossFit world, gets a bit of bad press, because they're like, oh, well, you're not doing weightlifting properly. Well, we've got to start somewhere, have we not? When you first started walking, because you walk straight away? No. Usain Bolt, when he ran 100 meters, did he have perfect technique? No. You've all got to start somewhere. It's just that CrossFit's in the highlight of the world right now. It really is big, and everyone's just kind of trying to slay it because it's not perfect form. A lot of us trying our hardest, and why shouldn't a 70-year-old mum or dad or grandpa go to CrossFit and give something a go and try and learn some techniques? I think it's amazing, mate. Honestly, I do. And I think that's something that on the Chase Payne channel, people just see me getting after it, and if they think, oh, that squat's not deep enough, that's cool. No problem. That's okay. It's not going to affect me,
That's awesome.
Yeah, just get after it, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I think other people are always really worried about what other people think of their session or what they do. Just go and get after it. Go and chase that pain. And I think when people on that my Chase Payne channel, when I'm working out, I put the sessions on there where I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. And I was watching my videos back, and I always see myself when I'm struggling or I'm going through that pain barrier. And you see it next time you watch a fitness video, watch someone when they're in pain. They shake their head and they're doing this. They're shaking their head. And when I saw myself do it, I kind of questioned, why am I shaking my head for? And then I watched Craig Ritchie. Fantastic guy. His YouTube channel is amazing. Really great CrossFitter. Got a great brand out. He's really done that YouTube thing really well. Big fan of Craig Ritchie. And I seen him do a workout, and he was kind of shaking his head a little bit. And I saw another professional guy do it as well, and a professional lady. And when they get to this zone, they shake their head sometimes, and it's like, well, I'm going to start nodding my head. And it sounds really small, but it's 1%. And I'm going to start nodding my head. So when I'm in that pain threshold, and on the rower the other day, I was rowing, and it was tough. It was tough. I was doing 500-meter rows fast as possible with 2-minute rests, 10 rounds. And I wanted to try and push every row. By round 5 or 6, it was horrible. And I remember, I'm going to start nodding my head because I know it's horrible. And I watched the video back, and I saw myself nodding my head. I'm like, yeah, come on, then I'm having it, So rather than going, oh man, nah, because we all do it, right? We all do it. You must remember, oh no, this is horrendous. Let's nod our head. Yeah, come on then. Yeah. Or if you're still feeling negative, just keep nodding your head. Honestly, it's a winner. I've tried it. Anyone listening, do your workout, get to that pain threshold, chase some pain, and nod your head. Don't shake it. Every 1% counts, mate. I tell you, it makes a big difference.
100%. And it's funny because you do a workout, right? And people are like, oh no, this hurts. I'm like, yeah, what do you expect? What did you expect? You just breeze from yesterday, right? Your fitness has increased so well that you're going to breeze through this workout and it's not going to hurt a single thing. Of course it's going to fucking hurt. Jesus, get through it. Nod your head, God damn it, and just get yourself through it.
Yeah, nod. You know what? Hashtag nod your head, guys. That's what it's all about. Yeah, I watched that video. So I've just finished reading a book. You might have read it. Called Breathing Fire.
Ooh.
Breathe Fire. And it's quite how CrossFit started. Really, really good book. And it talks about Nasty Girls and about their video they made, and it was to kind of launch CrossFit, as it were. I think it was 2006, 2007, and it's 3 girls doing the workout. I forget what the workout is, but she really, really struggled, and there was these girls in so much pain, and because she didn't perform very well, she was like really disappointed in herself. But it's the most watched. It was the most watched YouTube video I think that year of CrossFit, and everyone loved it because she finished the workout. The winner didn't get spoken about. All they spoke about in the CrossFit community, and the whole community, was the girl that came last, but absolutely kept on going. It was the ring muscle up she couldn't do. And she just, when your muscles go and you got to try and recover, you don't give yourself long enough and you try and go again. It's Google the video on YouTube, Nasty Girls. It is an unbelievable video. It's inspirational. And the girl finishes the workout. And she's, I think she's a CrossFit trainer now. I forget her name. I'm not good with names. But it's a fantastic book, Breathing Fire. I got it for Christmas. Really, really good book. Not as good as your book. Sorry, not as good as your book, mate. I led to a little plug there. Do you like that? I just led to a plug there for you.
Oh dear, here we go.
Yeah, but no, it's a really good book, and I forget who said it. I think it was Glassman that said it. That when you're working out and you're really struggling, have like a positive comment to yourself. So it might be go, but it's something that just get back on the bar. So something that tells you to go rather than rest. And he said, breathe, fire. And I've been doing that. So if I've been struggling, I just breathe, and fire means let's go. Let's just do it. There's no turning back now. I've just got to get back on the bar. And I used to struggle with that a lot. Thrusters, Fran, getting back on that bar, just trying to, thrusters is something I really struggle with. And just trying to pick the bar back up. I used to find that really hard. But it wasn't physical. It was mental. It was just a psychological thing. Just get back on the bar. You can do it. And since January, one of my focuses of this month was to really focus on getting back on the bar, or just getting straight back on the rower, and just limiting that rest. Do you know what I mean? Just go for it. And I've really made some really good differences this January to a lot of my workouts, just because breathe, fire, nod the bloody head. That's it. Hashtag nod the head.
Hashtag nod the head. Like it really does force you to think about why you started, right? Like in the middle of the workout, when things are so painful and you don't know who you are, never mind what you're doing, and you're just like, why am I putting myself through this?
Why?
Like, I don't have to do it. Like, you don't have to do it, but you're doing it.
I'm not training for nothing. I'm not training for the open. I'm training for nothing. I will try some workouts. My daughter, what are we doing it for? I'm doing it. I want to do it. It's for me, Yeah, you're not training for anything, man.
Doing it for me. Doing it for life, or doing it for me. Like,
I'm doing it for me,
positive.
100%. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
Positive and powerful, man. And like, it all depends on the individual, right? When you think of like that, like breathe, fire. Like, you might think about that, or you might think of go, or nod your head. Like, it's all individual. I got a couple of athletes. Like, it depends on the day. It might depend on the week. It might depend on the workout, and it also depends on the lads, the mentality, or the ladies' mentality at the time. And sometimes it's like, hey, remember why you started. You have to just get down on your knees and be like, it's all right, mate, but remember why you started. Or another one that always gets me. I heard Ben Bergeron say it, where it's just like, it'll pass. Like, no matter what pain you're going through right now, it will pass. Like, it will not be there forever. And I, to be honest, I've actually thought that during injuries too, where you might be in pain like that, and your back is a great example. Like, you might be in pain like that for months, never mind fucking minutes in a workout, months. And you're like, this is never going to end. Like, I'm going to be in pain forever. Like, I can't do this anymore. And you just got to think, hey, this is going to pass. Like, pain is not real. All right. It doesn't have a physical form. It's not real. It's not tangible. It's in your head. So get out of it. Like it's not real. And when people come to that realization of, oh, pain isn't actually real.
Yeah.
But we fear it so much.
We do.
I'm like, well, we're fearing something that doesn't exist. Get over it, princess.
But that's, you know what, when you talk about that pain and that threshold, we all hit that threshold of lactic acid buildup and, you know, what your body can take. But the only way you can actually improve, whether it's lactic acid threshold, whether it's your, you know, just your heart rate, your cardio, the only way you can improve or time is by going through that pain barrier. Otherwise, you're just going to be at the same level. You won't improve yourself. If you want a faster time, then run faster or further, or the same distance but quicker. You know, so when we all know we're getting that, we all know when we're hitting that threshold, unless it's a bit of a fast burn workout where it comes very quickly. But otherwise, it's you feel that build up, and you know when you're getting there, and it's a mental thing. You're like, yeah, I'm getting there now. Okay, I'm getting there. And can you push through that moment, or do you just go, yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, I'm going to maintain that? Because the only way you can progress is by taking your body where it hasn't been before on a consistent basis. I think that, again, going back to the chase pain, that's what I like. I like that pain will be different every month because hopefully I'm going to try and progress, and I might not, but I'm going to try. But that pain will always be different because you're progressing. And I like to think that the body, the muscles, the mind, you're not training one thing. The pain is in different areas. So when I said about nod my head, well, that I've only learned to do that of late, and it's making a difference. Well, that's me improving. That's going to help me improve. And on the rowing machine, when the legs are burning, you know, at some point it won't get any worse because it can't get any worse. You're in such a bad place. You're there and you're holding on. You've got 400 meters to go, and you don't want to stop. It's not going to get any worse. Just keep going. It's not going to get any worse. Plow through it. If you stop now, especially on a 2K row, if you stop 1500 meter mark where the 500 you're thinking, you know, I can't do, but you can. If you stop at 1500, you've only got to do it again because you haven't improved anything, because you haven't gone through that threshold. So you're going to revisit that door again at some point, right? And you have to walk through the door. The more times you walk through that door of where you want to stop, you're going to get fitter quicker, and you're also going to feel better for it as well. And that is definitely how you improve. You know, when you want to stop and you decide to keep going, that's when you start seeing some really consistent improvements. And of course, like you said earlier, doing something consistently helps so much, because it also, do you not find as well, it gives you confidence? When I started with the barbell only last year, you know, I was scared of the barbell. What do I do? You know, and I'm still not lifting very much, and I don't want to until I've got, you know, a half good technique. I don't want to get injured, of course. So it's just trying to find that balance. And I think confidence, whether it be with a rowing machine, dumbbells, whatever it is, the pull-up bar, the more you do it, the more consistent you are doing that movement, I think the better you're becoming. And that's not even becoming fitter. That's just getting confident with that apparatus. And I see a lot of my clients do a lot of rowing with my clients, and they improve quicker on the road than anything else. Once they've got technique and they've really got the catch and they're really working well, they're being really clever. They're working smarter, not harder. You know, got their stroke rate down, working with power. They improve so much, and that's just getting used to the equipment. And I think that's underestimated. Get used to the equipment. You only get used to it if you're consistent, as you say, being consistent with it. And I like to consistently chase pain. It's just what I like to do. And I don't really compare my results to anyone else. It's just me against me, and I've got my own little record board I've got in the gym, and I like to try and push a record. So and if I don't break it, then that's cool. That day wasn't my day, and I give it everything I got. That's it. It is what it is.
But like we said before, like pain comes in many forms, right? And the pain that you go through during a workout might last a couple hours after the workout, if that. Okay, at the maximum, you might feel a bit ill a couple hours after the workout. If you go so hard, like you're not really going to go any further than that, right? But the mental pain you're going to get from quitting or from slowing down or from not going through that door, like you said, will just bug you and
Be
bug
gutted.
you and bug you, and it will stick with you. And when you wake up in the middle of the night for a piss, it'll be there. Like, it will not leave you alone until you shake hands with it. And it's the whole thing of like, how do you weather a storm, right? You go through it. What are you going to do? Turn around and run away? Well, that isn't an option. Are you going to try and go around it? Well, no, because the storm will still smash you. Are you just going to stick in one position? Hell no, you're not, because it's just going to come and tundle over you. So the only thing you can do is go through it. And
just accept it, make friends with it, and go through it. Boom.
Accept it. Shake hands with your devil.
Make friends with it and go through it. Shake hands with the devil, mate, and go through it. And you know what? I love that, because when I think I've sent you the photo on my wall where the rowing machine, I've got the quotes on the wall. Rocky's a legend to me, and I've got some quotes on the wall, and I've got one of yours on there, hard work works. When one on there, it says, when it hurts, push harder. When it does hurt, I like to then go, right, I'm now going to push the hardest I've pushed, and I'm going to give you hell. If you think this hurts, mate, you wait till 2 minutes time, it hurt even more. Let's have it. Literally. And that thinking about it, that's what I buzz off, mate. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I can't. Hi, Frank, come here, Dan. My daughter's come say good night. Hello, lovey, you all right? Say hi on the podcast.
What's up, boss?
Oh, what's your favourite CrossFit move? What would you like doing most?
Skin the cat.
Skin the cat. She loves the rings, mate. That's a good one, darling. Mate, she's loving the rings at the moment. She's working on her kipping, aren't you, darling?
Yeah.
And your box jumps are getting there. How about your wall ball slams? Still working on them.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you a kiss. Have you? Got them. So yeah, I absolutely thrive on that moment. And like you say, when it hurts, good. Come on, then. Just thrive on it. And everyone's got that in them. And I don't get me wrong. Every time, we aren't always successful, and it doesn't always work. And it's going to hurt, and you might end up short of the way you want to be. But I tell you what, I'm going to give it a good old go. And everyone can. It is a mindset thing. But I do love that, mate. Love that moment of, come on, then. Let's attack it.
Every time you get one shot, right? So, for example, you'll only ever do the workout for the first time once. You'll only ever do the workout for the 5th time once. Like, you have one shot every single time. So it's just like, all right, cool. If I got one shot, there's no do-overs. I can't repeat. I'm not going halfway through this workout, pausing, going back, refeeding, and doing it again. Like, no, you get one shot at it. You got an hour, you've got 20 minutes, you've got 5 minutes, whatever. So if you can only give your 40% of your total capacity today, then give you 40%. If you can give me 10%,
give you 40%. True.
Give me 10%. If you can go harder than you think you could go, do it. Because you get one shot.
100%. Yeah.
And then give
and you're
yourself
right. Every day isn't perfect. Yeah. Every day you aren't feeling always, perfect for the situation or perfect for that workout. And then, but some great example there. Love that, mate. That's perfect. So 50%, that's what I'm going to give. I'm going to give you all I can give. And that's the priority, isn't it? I'm going to give you everything that I can give right now. And that is spot on. Because every day, no one's 100%. It's very rare anyone's ever 100%. Whether it's aches, niggles, tiredness, or, up with the girls at night or whatever it may be. But if you go in and give it an honest T for try, 100%, just give it what you got. No more questions to be asked, can they?
No. And think of it this way, right? If you give 1% of what you can do, 1%, which is nothing, right? You think to yourself, and you're like, 1%, is that worth doing? Like, really? That's 1% more than you would have done if you wouldn't have done it. And if that's 1% better. 1% better every day.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, I'll get 1% better every day. Okay, yeah, and 1% better. But if you only give your 1%, then there you go. That's your 1%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so true, man. So true. And again, mentally wise, just by going out and doing that 1%, you feel so good for it mentally, especially right now when, I'm in the UK and we're in lockdown, that 1% a day can make a big difference. My wife, so something else that's happened as well since I've been doing the workouts and that since last year. So my wife, who's never done fitness, she started doing rowing. and she's taken up some fitness as well. She rows 4 times a week now. Even when she doesn't want to, she would go out there and get it done, you know. And the worst thing I can do is try and ask her to do it, because then she won't want to do it. So I don't get involved. But she's seen the difference it's made to me and the kids, because both kids love CrossFit. You know, they're into it, they love it. And she's been out there, and I looked on the whiteboard, and she wrote on there 378k. Darling, who wrote that on the board? And she went, I did. I went, okay. What's that for then? You doing maths or something? She went, no, I'm going to row to Liverpool. So her target was to row to Liverpool. She wants to go to Liverpool, and she worked out how far it was. And 378k. Once I've rowed that, I'm allowed to go there. So like she's been doing, she couldn't row more than 500 meters. She's doing 5Ks now. You know, and in 26 minutes, 27 minutes, her 1K time went down from 6 minutes to 5:30, and she's trying to break 5 minutes. You know, my daughter Marley, hers was 4:55 down to 4:28. Frankie does a 200-meter row, and they've all got their little records on the wall, and they kind of manage themselves. And we don't really talk about it much in the house, but we've all got our own little targets, and we go out and just do it. And I think that's been quite inspiring as well, where as a family we're kind of all doing it together. And my wife is, she can't stand football or fitness, so the fact that she can do it, trust me, anyone can do it. And she's really good. She's got a great technique now, and it's given her a lot of self-confidence that you get used to the rowing machine, you get to learn some new techniques. So I can do this. She's got bad knees, so she can't really run much, so she's never really ran. And rowing, mate, she's taken to it, and she loves it now. Or loves to hate it, might be better. But she's doing it. And when she's feeling tired, or she's had a really rough day at work, she's got quite a stressful job, working with trafficked women. She looks after women and houses them and supports them. Really, really high support needs. She comes home, she still goes out and does it, and she would never have done that before. And I think just being consistent and trying to break her own targets has got her doing that. So that's it's another reason to be consistent, because it's great for your mental health, isn't it?
Absolute, all hats off for doing that. Like that's incredible, and to be able to do that. And I'm sure she's felt so much benefit mentally, and it's all come from you, right? You were the spark. You were just like, hey, I'm going to put myself in a really vulnerable, uncomfortable position, and something that I'm really shit at, and I'm going to try. And consistently, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to keep trying, and then that's it. Yeah. Everyone else just goes, wow. And it's not because you were stood up on a pedestal saying, yeehaw, yeehaw, look at me. It's like, nah, like you kind of just kept your mouth shut, keep your head down, and just keep working hard. And that's a leader, not a boss. And leaders stay the truer time. You know what I mean? People will follow you into battle. That's what I always say. Like, I try and keep. I want a group of leaders around me, right? I don't agree with the whole like, oh, alpha kills alpha and all that sort of shit. I'm like, all right, congratulations, but you need to know how to deal with other types of people. Yeah. But keep a tight-knit circle around you. So if any one of them turned round and was like, I'm going to war, you'd be like, okay, let's go. You would follow them into battle. And they're the people, they're the revolutionaries, they're the bold people, they're the people that change things. And even if it's on a minute scale, like you said, of helping Kylie's fitness. She's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna try this. And then like rowing to Liverpool, that's absolutely insane, and that's awesome. And touching on the whole mental health thing as well, like the whole cognitive fitness, and because I think physical and mental health is combined. I don't think they're separate entities. Like it goes back to the storm. The only way, like we know in Western medicine, right? We are reactive medicine. You come to me with a cut, I give you a plaster. You come with me with an illness, I give you a pill, rather than preventative, rather than trying to stop things from happening. Anyway, I don't know a great deal about the whole Western medicine in terms of mental health. I'm not going to say I'm not qualified in that sense at all. A little bit of a disclaimer. However, I see people and they're just given this pill, that pill, put in a system, cycled round. And I'm like, you're putting them in a box and telling them to do laps. They're never going to get out of that box. They're just going to keep going round and round and round. And eventually they're going to keep on banging their head against the wall so much, they're going to get so sick of it. And God forbid, they'll end up cocking themselves.
Yeah.
So you're just like, all right, well, how do you do it? Well, you hold their hand, metaphorically or physically, and you walk through the fucking storm. And you shake hands with whatever you need to. You go on a bloody spiritual, emotional, mental, like adventure where you cleanse yourself of like dopamine, or you do physical stuff, or, you know, you lock yourself in your room and you just like work through every piece you need to. You go through that storm. Whatever you don't want to do is probably the thing you need to do. Let's be honest. You don't want to go out.
The thing you don't want to do, it's usually the hardest thing to do, isn't it? That's the problem, is it? The hardest thing to do is what you don't want to do, and the hardest thing is usually the best thing to do for you. Yeah. We will it's natural to go, nah, it's all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to come home and cook a nice meal, well, you can cook, we can all cook. Well, maybe I can't very well, but, you know, get fresh vegetables and make a beautiful step-up meal. Actually, I can chuck something in the freezer. Do you know what I mean? It's a very similar kind of thing where it's just so easy. And that's the way it is. And I'm, you know, I do that sometimes, and, you know, I try to cook, not very good at it, but it's very, very true, mate. And I think a lot of that takes a lot of time, and it is the hardest thing to do. But it makes the biggest difference.
But look where comfort's got us. Like, mental health is at an all-time high. Obesity is at an all-time high. Like, social problems are at an all-time high. Like, we are awesome. Human beings are awesome. Yet it looks like we're shooting each other in the foot. I'm like, hey, it's not that hard, right? It's not that hard to care about the next person. It's not that hard to look after your health a little bit. And it's not that hard to be have a little bit of accountability for your own actions. Like, hey, if I'm going to walk into the NHS or a hospital and say I got chest pains, but I'm 45 stone, no fucking wonder you got chest pains, mate.
Yeah, it's very true.
I'm like, have a little bit of accountability, care about the next person, saying, hey, you know what? Someone might need a surgery, but I'm taking their space and time because for the past 10 years, I've eaten myself into a situation. Like, have a little bit of accountability, have a little bit of discipline with yourself. Yeah, comfort is a great thing, but also you learn so much in that uncomfortable state. And chasing pain is the way to do it.
You learn more about yourself. That it's also at that moment whether you can go on or whether you can't. And, you know, I'll probably learn more about myself in that snap of a finger when I decide to carry on or I'm going to slow down a little bit. You know, and it doesn't always work. And sometimes, you know, I have only got 40% to give, but if I've got 1%, I'm going to give it. And you learn so much about yourself, and it gives you a lot of confidence and self-belief to go and do things. And hopefully, others and other people that listen to this will go out and give it a go and try some techniques we spoke about, especially the hashtag nod your head, get that trending.
Love that.
You know, and just get after it and just challenge yourselves and push yourselves in more than one way, isn't it? Like we said, it's not just about the fitness side of it, it's the being consistent every day. You know, I've last year in January the 1st, I said to myself, I'm gonna read a book. So I'm gonna read a bit of a book before bed every night. No phone in my bedroom. It used to be a nightmare. I'd sit up on my phone. I got rid of it. No TV at night unless it's a weekend, and it's a luxury. Like, it feels like a luxury now. Last year, I read 35 books. That's more books I've read in my entire life. 35 books, and there was a wide variety of books. Of course, a lot of them were "Where's Wally?" I read 35 books and I found about 474 million Wallies. Honestly, I've never slept so well in my life, and I just feel so revived the next day. And I've carried it on as well. On my third book this year, I read Breathing Fire. That was the first book I read this year. I'm currently reading a space book about Tim Peake. all different things, and you're kind of nourishing your brain, you know, and you just, again, I was well at my comfort zone. I actually struggle to, I'm not great at reading because I'm dyslexic. So I find things really hard. I talk very fast. I get words mixed up. And it's really helped me out. I've become a lot more confident reading books now, especially when I'm in a class. I read books to a group of children. When I make mistakes, brilliant. They get to see me make a mistake reading a book. That's okay. No problem. We just deal with it. So yeah, reading books has been a small 1% change that I done. And it made such a massive difference. And I hope people at home or people that listen here can just go and try something. Whatever you want to make a change, just go and make one change, but make it consistent. Don't go and make 10 changes that you won't keep. Just start with something little. Leave your phone downstairs overnight. Read a bit of book at night time. Just do something, but do it every day. That's the challenge, isn't it? Do it every day. Commit to it. Be accountable. I've made some notes on my mirror that I read every night. You know, have I stretched? Have I said a positive comment to my wife? You know, when you're around each other all day, you don't, you know, you're just like passing ships all the time. You're busy with the kids, you're in and out of work. Go and say something really positive to my wife, you know, and it might sound really silly and like, don't you talk to your wife? Yeah, all the time. But how often do you sit down with a couple and actually talk together? So I've made that part of my day, just little things, but you know, it makes a really, really big difference. So whatever it is you do, make one little difference and do it consistently. It started with my burpees last year, 1 burpee a day. Just do it, just got it done. And that's where it all started, mate. It started with 1 burpee a day and it just snowballed. Have you read David Goggins' book?
No, I haven't. I've been told by a couple of people to read it.
Very good. Very good. Not just because of the motivation side of it, but his childhood growing up, mate, and it's insane. It's insane. He loves his running, but some of the stuff he does about his buds training and some of the things he done was crazy. I mean, crazy. And in my opinion, you've got commitment and then you've got overcommitment that affects your family. And then, you know, sometimes you've got to go, actually, I want to spend time with my wife or my kids. I want to do X, Y, and Z. He admits in the book, it's a very selfish line of life that he took, but he's a fantastic man. I love the book. I watch his videos. Unbelievable guy. But yeah, it's just making sure that you think about everything in your life, not just about one thing that is just for you, if you know what I mean.
100%.
So it's just making sure that, you know, I think the easiest way to put it is you find balance in whatever you do. You know, I love to work out and I try and do 45 minutes to an hour a day, whether it be just stretching or whatever, but my family and my work comes first. I just make sure that fits in around it. So it's just trying to find that balance. I love my chocolate, mate. I love chocolate. So I'll have 1-2 chocolate bars a week. That'd be about it. On a weekend, I might treat myself. You know, so it's just do something, but also find that balance and don't let it kind of take over. Do you know what I mean?
That's a really, really important point. Having that balance and I've got multiple avenues that I have to keep myself in check with it for, you know, for example, you know, fitness and work, right? So being you can relate to this too, being an athlete as a kid, right? Or playing a sport and trying to be good at it as a kid, right? You spend so much time and energy into it, and then you pair in work, and now you need to, especially coaching, because you have to be so present and thinking about everything that, and then all the stuff behind the scenes, right? Then that's it. That's 2. You've got 50%, you've got 50%. That's your 100%. But where's your family?
Yeah.
Or your family needs something, or your mates need something, or your significant other needs something, or just you need something else.
Yeah.
And it's like, I say to myself all the time, I'm like, hey, I can do really well in sport and do really well in work at the same time, but I'm a miserable bastard to be around. And I don't want to be like that. I do not want to be that guy that is so cranky and never, you know, as an ego thing as yourself, for yourself, like, hey, I don't want to feel miserable all the time and tired. But also you just don't want to be like that for other people because you want to give energy towards other people. So it's like, all right, what are you going to let slip? Well, if you let your work slip, then you can no longer look after your family as well as you wanted to. You can no longer pursue things that you wanted to. You no longer look after yourself because for yourself, you want to pursue those things. So that can't go. Obviously, family can't go either. So what's left? oh, you need to take a little bit of a step back with training. Sometimes you need to do 1 a days. You might need to only train for 60 minutes rather than 90 or 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, have some balance. And Gary Vee is talking about it a lot at the moment. And I really fucking respect him for it, simply because he's all about like hustle, right? And you and I are both are like work ungodly amount hard. Like just put your head down and go. But you need to know when to be like, hey, you've done enough, mate. And something for me at the moment, and I hope people hear this, because you usually see me posting or working or doing this and doing that. And I'm like, how are you doing everything? Like, I had a meeting with a good mate of mine. He was like, mate, what do you actually do? Because I see you do everything. And I was like, yeah. I kind of do, because I like to spin multiple plates and I like to like do everything sort of thing. But like Thursday, Friday, I'll train at dinner time. So I'll train at 12 till 1. And that's it. I'm done then, and my work day is done. So I basically have half days on Thursday, Friday, because, you know, I kind of got into the habit and the routine of doing a little bit of work on Saturday and then doing a little bit of work on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no complete days off. So I'm like, nah, I might come back and do a couple hours, but I'm done by 4 o'clock. I'm done by 3 o'clock, 3:30. So and ideally I'm done by 1 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, you put your head down and do half a day, and you're actually doing nothing for the rest of the day, or you're going to see people or whatever. And it's having that balance and being able to say, hey, you've done enough, mate. Like, look at your diary.
Yeah.
You've done so much this week. Calm yourself down, recharge the batteries. It's okay. Go spend some time with your loved ones. Go spend some time with yourself. Play some PlayStation. Go for a walk. Go sit in a hot pool or something. Have a drink, whatever it is, have that pizza and just, you know, relax, because 80-90% of the time you've been absolutely smashing it. It's okay to enjoy life.
It certainly is, mate. And I think, you know, we should be doing those things so we can enjoy life. And I think that's something I always try to install in my kids and with the missus. We just want to make sure that we are making the most of the situation with the COVID right now. We're at home together, so much of the work and stuff, make the most of it, which is why we do our Friday theme nights, for example, you know. So it is 100% finding that balance. And I've definitely made big mistakes in the past where my balance was very wrong.
You and me both.
Especially during my football management days when I was managing non-league football, but it was still, you know, it took over more time than my job I was doing at the time. And come home one day and the missus said, look, we don't see you. And it got quite tough. So again, that night I decided to resign. And I best decision I ever made was to put my family first for anything. And I have been in that place where I didn't put them first. And it wasn't a nice, I knew I was doing it, but you're just so wrapped up in your own world. And you don't want to let your teammates down, because teammates, you know, are very strong passion there, and you've got good friendships. And then you've got, oh, it'll be okay, it's just the Saturday. But then you've got the phone calls on the Friday, then after the match, then the interviews for the paper, then you got this and that. And before you know it, it's the following Saturday and you've got another game and you're away again. And yeah, I made some really poor decisions. But if I didn't make those poor decisions then, maybe I wouldn't be who I am now, you know. So you got to be able to swallow those pills and, like you say, shake hands with that moment. That's the devil. You've dealt with that. Now I'm going to move on, and I'm going to try and use that and put something right going forwards. And I think right now, you know, the three things for me, you know, obviously family first. I've got my business, team spirit, and then I will work out each day, or I do a stretching session, or train Marley, my daughter, with her football, or Frankie in her CrossFit. So it's just tying them all together and just making sure it works. And I think balance and consistency and the passion to do what you want to do is everything. It really encompasses everything you want to achieve. And I think if you're sat there now listening to this podcast and you think, oh, I'd like to achieve something, no matter how small it is, if you come up with an excuse that you can't do it, get rid of the excuse and go and do it. Whatever it may be, I haven't got time, well, make time. I can't make time, find time. You know, because you really can. But start with something small, whether it be a book or taking your phone out your bedroom, or even my new drinks bottle here. I've got to drink that every day, a litre of water. So just be consistent, be passionate about whatever you do, and leave no stone unturned. Really.
Absolutely spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. Right, I'm not going to keep you too long. I know you got family duties.
Oh, it's been great.
I got
Thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's been fantastic fun.
Yeah, always, mate. Always. You're always welcome. And you're always welcome over here whenever the borders open up. We've heard that 2021.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to keep the borders shut over here, which I don't really blame them. But, all of you are welcome over here, mate. So spend some pennies wisely and come have a holiday.
That sounds amazing. And don't forget, I'm going to be sending you my 40th birthday, my 40th birthday workout. Right. So that's going to be sent to you. It's 4 workouts over 2 days. Do them in any order you want. I will let you into a little secret. One of the workouts is called Fran E. Fran E. Okay. Oh. That's just a little taster for you. All right. It's going to be fun. It's going to get spicy, mate. There's going to be tears. There's going to be sweat. Sweat. And there's going to be lots and lots of fun. I can't wait.
Tell you what, do them back to back. Do all 4 of them back to back.
Boom. Let's go. Up for it. Let's go.
What I signed myself up for? You call me out.
Well, right. I'll send them through to you, and obviously, yeah. So it's cool. And if anyone listening wants to go onto the Chase Payne channel, get on YouTube, have a look. It's Chase Payne, and Alex, you're a superstar, mate. So thanks so much for your time, man, and inviting me on again, mate. It means a lot. Thank you very much.
Always, brother. I'll catch up with you very soon and look after that family, mate.
Lovely, man. Take care. Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye.